Oh my gosh, I haven't even told you my embarrassing story of London, because as you guys know, there is always some sort of way that I embarrass myself somehow. I'm Daddy Pig. But if you are on the tube where everybody is dead silent, dead still, and you feel like something is tickling the back of your neck, hello everybody and welcome back to my podcast, Esme's Country Life. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about me going on public transport for the first time, living my London city life, and also Casper almost pushing my dad over. Anyway, let's get into today's podcast episode. Before though, I just want to say a huge thank you to the sponsor of the podcast, Redpost. Redpost is an equestrian and country store based in the UK, but they also ship all over the world. And you guys know, if you've been following my channel or my social media, that right now, the new autumn-winter colours for 2024 from Lemure are now out. And you might be thinking, but Esme, I don't live in the UK. Do not worry, because if you get them from Redpost, as I said before, they ship all over the world. So if you want to get yourself those new colours, or get yourself maybe some new winter clothing from Lemure, then be sure to get it from Redpost at redpostequestrian.co.uk. So first off, I thought I would talk about my first time on public transport on my own. And I actually, when I was on the train the other day, I messaged like the group chat being like, hey guys, I've made it 23 years. And today is finally the day I'm going on public transport on my own. And all of my friends were like, what on earth, Esme? Like, did you never take the bus or the train as a kid? And yes, I did. All the time. But the thing is, I live in the middle of nowhere. So it's not like I can just walk down, the street and there's a bus there that can take me somewhere. Oh, no. There is maybe one bus that can pick me up from the other side of my village, which is like a 45-minute walk away. And that bus only comes once a week. And I don't even know where it goes. So I have never taken that bus before because of that. So yes, I've taken the bus and the train and that kind of thing many times before, but I've always had a friend with me. And I think it's because growing up, I still have a friend, but she doesn't live there anymore. But in the neighbouring village to my village, I had a friend who lived there. And whenever we would go out into the town or into our local city or whatever, we would always get one of our parents to pick us both up, then take us to our local train station, and then we would get the train from our local town into the city. So it was a bit of a process, but that was the way we would do it. But because she lived next door, or like practically next door, in the village next door, we would always just end up going together. So whenever I would take public transport, she would be my public transport friend. And like when I went to school, I'd get the school bus. So I guess I had all my school friends and I had my brother on the bus with me as well. So I was never really alone. So this was the first time the other day when I was going to see that friend. She has moved up to London. So I was going up to London to see her. So my dad very kindly dropped me off at the train station, went in I've taken the train so many times. It was just like go in, get my ticket, go through, that kind of thing. And then I was like, okay, and I know exactly which platform to go to, because if you've been listening to the podcast, you might know that London this summer has been like my second home. So there we go. So I knew exactly which platform to get on. And then, yeah, do you know what it felt like? It was weird because normally I have somebody to talk to on the train or on the bus or whatever. And because I was on my own, I was like, oh, this feels a little bit strange. So luckily there was a nice girl sitting on our trains in our local area. There's normally like a little table and then there's kind of two seats kind of facing, two seats opposite each other. So there's 4 seats in total. So I looked around and there was a girl sitting on the table on her own, about my age, maybe like a year or two younger. And I thought, I'll go and sit with her. She seems nice. And yeah. I was vibing, listening to music on my headphones, brought my book along with me as well because I'm still in my reading era. I love a good book. I love a good read, especially as so much of my job is looking on my phone or on a computer, doing emails, editing, that kind of stuff, that I quite like to have time off my phone or off like electronic devices. And it's kind of like my time to just chill, decompress, that kind of thing. So anyway, I was, doing that thing where you listen to your music looking out on the window, and I was like, do you know what it made me think of? I think I felt like such an adult, even though I am an adult. I'm 23 years of age. The thing that it made me think of the most was the first time I went for a drive on my own in my car, which I remember it being really good because I was like, oh my gosh, this is so quiet. I don't have somebody to talk to. And then I was driving along for about 15 minutes. And then I was like, oh wait, I can listen to the radio now. So I put like the radio on. Like, that's such a weird thing to forget about or think about. But I guess when you're learning to drive, obviously you can't really have the radio on. You have to have like an adult with you that knows how to drive for so long and tell you what to do and shout at you. And normally that was my dad shouting at me. Actually, even today, I'd say I'm a pretty good driver, but he is the sort of person where if you're like 1 millimeter on the side of the road, a little bit to the left, he's like, oh, you're not in the centre of the road, or like just like little things like that. Although actually I am also that person who will, if my dad ever makes a mistake driving, I will let him know, because when he was teaching me how to drive, because he's like a proper car man person, he's done all these like extra driving certificates and that kind of thing. He'll be like, I've done all these certificates and I've got all of these driving qualifications, race car, that kind of stuff. So if he ever, I don't know, I think he curbed the car once and I made a real big deal about it. I let him know that he is not perfect, so when I'm driving and he's in the car, he can't say anything. So anyway, that was a little tangent I went on. But yes, it made me feel like I was like, oh my gosh, wow. Because a lot of the time I'm always with somebody, if that's like with a friend or often my dad, or like if I'm filming something, obviously need somebody to film me. So yeah, it felt very weird being like, obviously at my house, I'm on my own quite a bit, but I don't know, that's kind of different, I guess, being out in public. But no, it was good. And then the second, luckily, my friend very kindly met me at the train station, so that was all good. And then she is obviously living in London now. She is the tube expert, so we went up on the tube. We're staying in a hotel because where she's staying at the moment, she can't have guests, and she's kind of like half staying at somebody's place at the moment. She needs to find somewhere a bit more permanent. So anyway, so we had like a little staycation in London, so we had a little hotel room. So we dropped our bags off there, and then we thought, you know what, it is now time for some food. So we went to this place that she found online, I think, and it was actually I would recommend. I think it was called Alley Cat's Pizza, and we went for a nice little walk there as well, which is in a very nice area of London too. So we were just like having a little walk around. One thing that I would say though, oh my goodness, there is something about walking around cities or just London in general where, oh my gosh, my feet ache so much. And I'm an active person. I ride 2 horses a day. I try to go to the gym or run regularly. I do a lot of walking around. I'm on my feet a lot. But there's something about walking in London. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm used to walking in uneven ground, and also I'm used to walking in my trainers all the time. And to be fair, I did have trainers on, but they weren't my like super squishy, comfy ones. But my legs by the end of that day were aching. Anyway, so we did a lot of walking that day, which was really nice. And then from there we went and walked all the way to Oxford Street and Regent Street, and we did a little bit of shopping. I've got to say, I don't want to be biased because I guess I don't live that far away from London, but London, I've got to say, it is my favourite city. I love it. There are some people that are very some people absolutely love it. Some people like, not for me, bit too busy. But I feel like if you're going to do the city thing, you got to go all in. And I feel like London has all of that. It has lots of nice green spaces, so you could go and chill in a park if you wanted to. I don't know, Oxford Street and Regent Street, they are just like the best streets for shopping. I think it's because my like local kind of like hometown is very small and there aren't that many shops. So when I go there, they have all of like my favourite shops that I love going in that I would often shop online. So I've got to say, me and my friend, we are at the moment, our go-to summer shopping shop is probably Hollister. I am now a Hollister Gold member. It has got that bad, but just their summery clothes, they are such a vibe. And so there we go. Uniqlo I also really like. They do really nice like basic kind of things and really comfy things. Like I think they do like all sort of items. Like I have pajamas from there. I think I have some underwear from there. I've got some coats from there. So there we go. What other shops do I like going in? Stradivarius, Pull and Bear, they're a little bit more like if I'm in like a proper city, you can only have those. Other bits and bobs as well. There's lots of different shops that I like going in. Some of the fancy ones I like to go in and just kind of have a little browse round and take inspiration from. But no, I had a little shop around there. I feel like we did a lot of shopping actually that day, but didn't actually buy anything. So because after that, the main reason why we were going, well, apart from, obviously meeting my friend and catching up with her, because I haven't seen her much since she's moved away, but the main reason why we were going is we were going to the O2 for a concert. You guys are going to think, oh my gosh, Esme, you're like, this is the second concert in 1 month. What's happening here? Before that, I don't think I've actually been to that many concerts. I think the first concert, you're going to laugh at who I went and saw. The first concert I went to was I'm pretty sure it was in a field. It was in a field at this like local showground. It was Little Mix actually, but we had free tickets to go because my friend's mum worked for the events committee there or whatever. So we went. That was my first concert when I was a teenager. Who else have I gone? I wouldn't really say I'm like the biggest fan of them, but it was a vibe. It was good fun. And then I've seen George Ezra, but his like warm-up act was Sigrid, and I do really like her. She is a vibe, love her. So they were both very good. Then who else have I seen? Seen Coldplay. That was incredible. Probably one of the best concerts I've ever been to. Who else have I seen? I feel like everyone's going to be judging my music choices. But to be fair, at Coldplay, every single song I knew, and I'm pretty sure everyone in the world will probably know every single song that they played then as well. I was actually I've got to admit. Okay, so I haven't even said who I was seeing. I was seeing Noah Khan, and he was incredible. So if you love kind of like folky music, I grew up with a lot of the Lumineers and Mumford and Sons, that kind of thing. So if you like that sort of music and that sort of vibe, would recommend. So yeah, his to be fair, loads of people, I was like, oh, I'm going to see Noah Khan, and they were like, who's that? And I was like, excuse me, what is this? How do you not know this man? He's got some good songs. But I can't lie, I was actually so excited to see his warm-up act, which is Maisy Peters. If you haven't heard of Maisy Peters, I would describe her as the next British version of Sabrina Carpenter and Taylor Swift. Like, she has got some bops. If you're going through a breakup, would also recommend her songs. She was my number one Spotify artist for 2023, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I just love seeing young, successful women that are up and coming. I mean, to be fair, she she was one of the warm-up acts for the Eras tour, so that was really cool to see. I don't know, she's like a similar age to me, and it's just been nice to, because I kind of have been following her since her first album, I think, so it's nice to it's just really lovely to see people flourishing and being successful. But anyway, so yeah, would recommend listening to some of her songs. But there we go. That was the concert. The concert was, I haven't even said anything about it. To be fair, I was so lucky to get tickets when they actually came out, before they got really expensive. But for some reason, every time recently I've been to the O2, I have always sat. Oh yeah, the last concert I went to before that, Declan McKenna that I said before, and then also last time I was at the O2, I saw Luke Combs. So there we go. That is very country sort of music if you're into that. So a little bit different. Anyway, every time I go to the O2, I always end up sitting on, if you're facing the stage, the left-hand side, right at the top. And I think it's probably because these are the cheapest tickets, and I am not that person who will like wait at the clock. I'll just get an email come through being like, this person that you might like to listen to has got a concert at the O2, would you like to come along? I'm like, yes, is there any tickets left? Boom. I've just been very lucky. Anyway, so and we were sitting, tell you what, we finessed it. We were sitting right at the top, which, to be fair, at first it did give me the heebie-jeebies a little bit. When you're walking past everyone, you're trying to shuffle along, I was like, one wrong move, I could go tumbling down this crowd. And to be fair, I'm not the biggest fan of big crowds and big spaces, so I'm not that person who will book a standing ticket. Not because you're like, oh, Esme, you want a sitting down ticket because you're all fancy, but I do just get a bit overwhelmed in big crowd situations. It just wouldn't be worth it for me. I wouldn't have a good time. So we were sitting right at the top, and we were also right at the end. So I was sitting at the end. So I had nobody next to me. There were just no seats. It was just concrete. So that was really weird, but also really good fun. And because we were at the top, I didn't feel like I was surrounded by a big mass of people. Like, I didn't feel as claustrophobic. So that was also good as well. But yeah, Noah was incredible, was so good. And so was Maisy as well. So if you ever get the opportunity to see either of them, would definitely recommend. But yeah, by the time we stayed for all of it, apart from the last song, which I think was it was Stick Season. We listened to half of it and then we ran because we were, number one, this concert, Noah was performing for like 2 hours. It started at 9, and which is normally 9 o'clock is my bedtime. So I was 2 hours past my bedtime. It was, we knew it was like the end. We knew it was the last song because they did the whole like encore thing where they like go off and everyone's like, one more song. So anyway, so we knew it was the end, and we stayed for half of it, and then we skedaddled. We ran because we were both tired, our legs were both aching, and we also both hate crowds. So we managed to escape the O2 before it got too busy. Now, I can't remember if I said this before when I went and saw Luke Combs, but if you didn't, last time I went to the O2, I got an Uber boat to get across the Thames to escape the O2, because it is, if you've got to imagine like that many people in a big old concert hall all leaving at once, it is chaos. So luckily, because we escaped a little bit earlier, we managed to get the second tube that arrived. We just had to wait for one tube to go. We didn't quite make it on. There were some people, they were legging it. They were running like their life depended on it. I was like, okay, I want to escape soon, but I'm not that much of a keen bean. So especially as my legs were aching. So anyway, we got back home, and do you know what? The funniest thing was we were both a bit hungry, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad that I packed myself an emergency snack. And my friend went, oh my gosh, I've packed myself an emergency snack as well. And do you know what? We packed the exact same emergency snack, and if you want to know what it was a packet of hula hoops, ready salted. I know, kind of basic, kind of boring, but number one, they transport well. It doesn't matter if they get a little bit crumpled or a little bit crinkled, they still taste great. And number two, sometimes you don't feel like, a more exciting flavour. Sometimes just a bit of ready salted, that does the trick. So we both got to the hotel, put on our pyjamas, put our feet up, sat in bed, and ate our little ready salted hula hoops. So if you want to know, that was my snack choice of the day that day. Anyway, the next morning we had a little hotel breakfast. We enjoyed our little staycation, and then my friend had work the next day, unfortunately, so she couldn't get the day off. So she was proper commute. I mean, I'm an early girl. We both are early birds. We're both horsey, so we both got up early. I mean, she's used to getting up early for work, so am I. So I had our hotel breakfast, and then she scooted off, and then I was left on my own, and I had the choice of staying in London a little bit or going back home. So I thought, I'll stay in London for the morning. So I was living my London city girl life on my own, navigating the big city as a little country girl on my own. And I tell you what, it wasn't as scary as I thought. I had my maps on my phone. Actually, to be fair, when I was younger, I remember going on the tube with my parents. My parents would always take me and my brother to London on this thing called Kids Week. I don't know if they still do this. I think they still do. So I don't know. If you have a child, or if you are a child, do Kids Week at London, because it's so much fun. Because we would always end up, I think, going to Pizza Express, because I'm pretty sure they would do some like sort of Kids Week deal where kids would eat really cheap, and we would always end up going and seeing like a West End, because also we would end up getting like super cheap tickets for that as well. So I just remember going to London and we would do that, and it would be so much fun, like the best kind of weekend ever. So I just remember going around the tube with my parents and being like, how on earth do they know where we're going? Like, there's all these little tunnels, and there's all these like different routes and different lines. Like, how do I know if I need to go on the Circle line or the Victoria line or the Bakerloo line or all that kind of stuff? But actually, it's not as difficult as you think. You just have to know where you're going. Actually, to be fair, if you have maps on your phone, it tells you what tube you need to go on. It tells you when you need to go off. You can plan like a little route. And to be fair, I didn't actually go that far. I wasn't going that far. I ended up going back shopping again, but this time I could actually buy things because it was actually good going shopping before going to the O2, because when you go into the O2, you're not allowed to bring bags with you that are bigger than an A4 piece of paper, I'm pretty sure. So that's why I didn't buy anything, because I was like, I'm not going to be able to take it in. I don't want to head all the way back to the hotel with my shopping and then all the way back to the O2 again. But to be fair, when I was in the O2, I did buy one thing. I bought a florally top. Because once you're inside, I think it's fine to buy things. Like, nobody cared that I had like a little shopping bag with me. I think it's just getting in for, security reasons and all that kind of stuff. So yes, also at the O2, they have a lot of outlet shops, which me and my friend had so much fun looking around. But anyway, when I was shopping on my own, some people are going to hate me for this, because I'm actually recording this episode on the 3rd of September. This was in August that I went shopping. And what was I doing? I was shopping for autumn. I know. Don't get angry with me. But I am one of those people. Yes, I'm one of those basic girls who love autumn, or fall for my Americans, so much. I don't know what it is. Just autumn fashion, all the decorations, everything is so pretty, so cozy. I just love it. It brings me so much joy. And I always say, if something brings somebody joy and it's not hurting anybody else, then you can't complain about it. So there we go. Don't complain about it. But I went and looked around all the autumn homeware and decorations and cute things, and I bought some cozy jumpers, and yeah, I had a lot of fun. So there we go. Also, one thing that I'm so excited for is decorating the cottage again. I know last year you guys loved that video, so I'm gonna have to film another one, because it's just the best thing ever. I love it. I love anything to do with decoration, or, to be fair, Christmas this year also. I know I'm not gonna say it. I have said it once. I know it's a naughty word to say when it's only September, but in all defense, in my job, everything is like a few months early. So right now, I'm gonna start filming all of my autumn content, because by the time I've edited it, produced it, it's time to go out, it will actually be autumn, and you got to do it a little bit ahead. So as soon as it's November, it's Christmas. That's just how it works in my job. I'm sorry. Don't get angry at me, but it's just the way it is. It's the way it is. I'm sorry. But you got to do everything early, because, to be fair, I've seen so much autumn stuff on my feed. And I think that's probably because my feed is like, this girl, she likes autumn. Here we go. Give her more autumn things. So there probably aren't that many people that are already into all that kind of stuff. But anyway, oh my gosh, I haven't even told you my embarrassing story of London, because as you guys know, there is always some sort of way that I embarrass myself somehow. So when I was in London, I was on the tube. Luckily, I don't know if it's better or worse that I was with my friend at this stage, but if you've ever been on the tube in London, it's a bit of a hostile environment. Nobody talks to each other. Everyone is just silent. You don't do eye contact with anyone. You just keep your head down. You stay in your lane. You pretend nobody else exists. Like, it's just the way it is. It's the London way. People aren't that friendly. Anyway, so for my cute little outfit that I was wearing to the Noah Khan concert, I had my white jeans with like little horses and cacti on, like I was proper like cowgirl. I had a denim shirt and like a white t-shirt, and then I had my little fringe hair facts and favour bag. I was feeling super cute, and I also had a navy bow in my hair because I thought that would just tie the outfit all together. If you didn't know, in the summer when it's hot on the tube, they have air conditioning, or this, like, I wouldn't really say it's air conditioning, it's more just some air that's kind of hot that just kind of blows from behind you, kind of. The tube can get quite hot and sweaty, I can't lie. Anyway, it's almost like, those really bad hand dryers that just like a bit of hot air just kind of blows on you, and it's almost like someone's just kind of coughed on you. Anyway, so I was sitting there, and the way that the tube was moving, maybe it was going around a corner or something, or maybe I just tilted my head in the wrong direction, but my bow that was in my hair went up into the kind of air conditioning hot air machine thing, blew up, whipped me round my face and tickled my neck. And for somebody who is very jumpy, as you know, I'm a jumpy person, and it felt like somebody was tickling the back of my neck, I screamed. Because I'm sorry, but if you are on the tube where everybody is dead silent, dead still, and you feel like something is tickling the back of your neck, I'm sorry, but you are going to scream. So in the middle of the tube where everybody was silent, I screamed. And you know what? Because I screamed, everyone looked up, and they looked up at me, and eye contact was made, which is like the 101 of being on the tube. You do not look at other people. And everyone stared at me, and then I looked at my friend, and I was like, I am so sorry. My hair got caught in the thing, and my ribbon, and it blew, and I thought someone was touching my neck, and that is like the one place where I do not like being touched, is my neck. I don't know, it freaks me out. Why would you want to touch somebody's neck? I don't know. So, did my brother growing up as a child know this fact? Yes. Would he come up behind me and tickle my neck? Yes. So anyway, there we go. That was my very embarrassing story on the tube. All right, bringing it back to the country life again, because I felt like I've been a city girl quite a lot this summer, actually. Anyway, on today's hack, I was like, Dad, I really wanted Dad to tell the story, because the way he was laughing about it was so funny. So Casper, on today's hack, we've got this like little route that we normally do, and it's half on the road, half on a bridle path. And we normally do the bridle path first, and then the road on the second half. But today I thought I'd switch it up. Would do the road first, then we would do the bridle path. It's normally because of rush hour, like the way timings work, it just works out better to do it on the bridle path first. Anyway, went road first, so on the bridle path on the way home, which is often where the horses can get a little bit more excited, because when we go across the canter fields, they're not going away from home, they're going towards home. And when my horses go towards home, they get their second wind, they get a little bit more excited, they have a bit more gas in the tank, and they are ready to go. So first field, Casper, la la la, nice little canter up this very steep hill. My dad, as he slams shut this metal gate, Casper goes, "Ooh, what was that?" Suddenly, he bolts. He goes. And he hasn't done this for a little while. And to be fair, it was like a little bolt. There was like maybe 3 seconds where I was like, ooh, I don't think my reins are doing anything. And then he listened to me and he was like, oh, okay. But as I kind of like was like, okay, Casper, slow down a little bit, as I kind of pulled him up, he decided to suddenly stop, put his head right in the air. There were 2 crows in the field. He kind of turned 45 degrees towards these crows, put his head up, did what I call a Casper snort, and kind of snorted at them, turned round, snorted. Thank you for the sound effects. I don't know if you heard, my dad just went. Sound like Daddy Pig and Peppa Pig. I'm Daddy Pig. Okay, we're both snorting now. Anyway, sorry, I've lost my train of thought now. That's definitely going to be clipped, and it's not going to be good. Anyway, Casper did his little snort, and then just carried on fine as if nothing happened. So, there we go. I feel like a Casper snort is very 2015 Casper. I don't know where it came from, but anyway, he decided to bring it back as a little throwback for us all. Anyway, rest of our hack, he was beautiful. There were a few times where he was like, can I go a bit faster? And I was like, okay, as long as you don't get too excited. And he was like, I won't. And he was a very good boy. So that was all good. So yeah, he definitely had a lot of steam in the tank. Anyway, we were on the little, there's like, once you finish going over the fields, there's like a little off-road track. Now, on the off-road track, my dad decided, I'll overtake them. Now, Casper is fine with not being in the front unless somebody who is in the lead goes around the corner. Did my dad speed off around the corner? Yes, he did. Did Casper freak out because he could no longer see my dad and thought he was left behind? Yes, he did. So our trot, Casper picked up, let's just say he picked up the pace quite a bit. And then he was like, oh, no, we are racing. I'm going to race you. So what did Casper do? He trotted super fast up to my dad. And then as we were kind of both going around the corner, Casper was like, I'm going to cut you off. Now, I tried my best to steer him away from my dad, but Casper was like, nah, mate, we're gonna take him out. So anyway, Casper basically pushed my dad up against this hedge and then zoomed off. And then my dad was just like, and also Casper definitely gave him the side eye as he was doing it. And my dad was like, what in the Max Verstappen has happened here? You've just gone to overtake me, pushed me off the track, and then just zoomed off, giving no care in the world about me or like where I would have ended up. So anyway, that is, Dad's new nickname for Casper. Instead of Max Verstappen, it is Casper the horse. I don't know. If you're an F1 person, you'll understand that, but if not, no worries. To be fair, he's not my favourite driver. Some people are going to love that. Some people are going to hate that. Controversial. But anyway, moving on. Oh, talking about Formula One, you guys can hear it first, although I don't know when this podcast episode is going to go out. You never know. It might go out on the same day, actually. I think it might go out on the same day, but I have been invited to a Formula One team HQ. I'm doing a tour around it. I am so excited. So anyway, I'll have to tell you all about that in the next episode. Don't worry, if you're not a Formula One fan, I will make it interesting. And of course, I'm sure I will have a story to tell because you guys know me. I'll embarrass myself. I'll try not to scream this time. I think there is something wrong with me. I don't know what it is, but I am just such a jumpy person. Anyway, on that note, we're going to finish off today's podcast episode here. I really hope you enjoyed hearing about my public transport adventures. And yes, I just want to say a huge thank you to Red Post for sponsoring the podcast. Go and check out the new Lumiere colours that they have because they are gorgeous, especially ready for autumn, as you guys know. I'm an autumn girly. But anyway, I'll finish today's episode there, and I'll see you all next time. Bye! Oh, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. You know when you just, get that sneezy, incoming feeling? I'll snort my nostrils and see if it'll get rid of the sneezy feeling. ASMR nostrils. Okay, let's begin.
Was that the intro?
No, that wasn't. That was just me talking. I mean, it can be. We can put it at the end as a little. There we go. I don't know what that was.
What's that?
As a little kiss, like a little. I don't know. Okay, let's actually begin. That's my warm up. Okay, we're ready.